MBW Incorporated. The name MBW stands for quality, a quality that sets industry standards in an industry where the demand for service, performance, and innovation are ever increasing. MBW's Blitzscreed is a precision, lightweight yet heavy-duty screed. It was designed to strike off and consolidate concrete while simultaneously providing a high degree of surface accuracy. Another plus is greatly elevated rates of productivity. Like most products requiring assembly and adjustment, the Blitzscreed will perform at optimum levels only if it is set up and calibrated correctly. Section placement is important. Generally, it is preferable to place longer sections together in the center of a screed. Shorter sections are placed at either or both ends of the screed. The drive pulley is attached to the same section that supports the engine. Support the shaft between the A-frame bearing hub and driver with a wood block. Knock out the driver roll pin and remove the shaft driver. Loosen both set screws in the A-frame bearing hub. Loosen the A-frame bolts. Now, remove the clevis from the top tube and slide the A-frame off the shaft. Thread 2 drive belts into place. It is very important to remember that the drive pulley should be between 2 A-frames which contain bearings. Slide the A-frame back to its original position and bolt into place using only the bottom bolts. Retighten the set screws using the original set screw marks in the shaft to ensure shaft and bearing hub alignment. Likewise, it is very important to properly align the shaft driver on the shaft. Place a wood block under the drive shaft and install the shaft driver roll pin. Align the thickest point in the drive pulley, shaft driver, and A-frame bearing hub so that they all face the same direction. The engine mounting bracket and clevis must now be bolted to the top tube. The engine may be affixed to either end or in the middle of the screed. In either case, it is important to attach the engine so that the engine cylinder is over the rear of the screed and the engine is located between 2 A-frames containing bearings. Placing the engine at one end of the screed has some advantage in that a winch operator can also control the engine. However, placement of the engine in the middle of the screed will provide the benefit of more uniform vibration across the length of the screed. Now secure one of the drive belts to an adjacent A-frame for emergency use. Slip the remaining belt over the clutch and drive pulley. Position the drive pulley directly below the clutch. Rotate drive pulley with the thickest point aligned to the thickest point of the A-frame bearing hub. Adequately tighten the taper lock to secure the drive pulley to the shaft. Belt tension is critical to proper performance. With the engine shut off, adjust the belt so that it is just loose enough to touch the inside surfaces of the belt together with finger pressure. One of the most common assembly errors is to adjust drive belts too tight. If the belt is too tight, it may smoke and burn. At this point, install the end brackets and winches. We are now ready to finish the assembly of the Blitzscreed. It is essential that the following sequence of events be completed in order. Step 1. With careful attention given to matching the profiles of the rubber couplers and shaft drivers, connect all of the shafts in the screed. There are 2 retaining rings for each coupler. Slide 1 retaining ring over each end of the coupler. If the fit is loose, deform the retaining ring to tighten. The ends of the coupler should be firmly sandwiched between each retaining ring and shaft driver. Sight down the top tubes of all screed sections and straighten if necessary. Step 2. Make certain that the bottoms of the 4 blades at the juncture of any 2 sections are all in the same plane or level. Attach and tighten splice plates with blind nuts at the rear of the screed. Again, it is critical that the blades are all in the same plane. Tighten the splice plates hard. You will not be coming back to retighten them. Step 3. Loosely attach and turnbuckle assemblies into yokes provided at each end of every screed section. Do not tighten any of the hardware. Keep turnbuckle hardware loose. Note that the notches in the turnbuckles must all be positioned to the left or right. Repeat the loose assembly process from section to section throughout the screed. The next adjustment is very important. If your slab is to be flat or crowned, rotate the turnbuckle until the bolts at each end bottom out on the outside of the holes in the yokes. If your slab is to be inverted, rotate turnbuckle until bolts bottom out on the inside edge of the holes. Once the adjustments are made, tighten the turnbuckle bolts hard, being careful not to rotate the turnbuckle. Do not tighten turnbuckle jam nuts yet. This will be done when adjusting for grade. You have just viewed the 3 critical assembly steps in sequence. If the assembly is not completed in the order shown, you may have a screed that is torqued or slightly twisted and will not perform at optimal levels. With the screed-on forms and a string line running adjacent to the rear or float blade, you are now ready to adjust the MBW Blitzscreed to grade. Beginning with the turnbuckle at the center of the screed, rotate turnbuckle until screed center is at the desired height. Repeat the process at each turnbuckle for the remainder of the screed. You will likely have some difficulty on your first attempt to align the screed, but the process becomes easy with practice. When the screed has been adjusted to the desired grade, back the jam nuts hard into each turnbuckle, being sure that the turnbuckle does not move out of place. The assembly and alignment of the MBW Blitzscreed is now complete. After assembling a new screed for the first time, set it on wood blocks or sawhorses and start the engine. Run it at a very slow idle for approximately 20 minutes. This allows the bearings to seat and the screed to break in before the first pour. Now, spray down the screed with form oil before pouring. Failure to coat the screed with form oil will result in extra cleaning time. During operation, do not exceed 2600 engine RPM. If you hear knocking noise, the shaft is hitting the A-frames. Check the engine RPM. Failure to do this will result in damage to the A-frames. Clean immediately after use. If a pressure washer is used to clean the Blitzscreed, give each A-frame bearing a shot of grease immediately after washing. Run the engine for a short time to disperse the grease within the bearings. Properly assembled, aligned, and maintained, the Blitzscreed will give you years of high performance and high production use. But keep this videotape handy even after you're comfortable with the setup process. Our experience confirms time and time again that problems encountered in operation of the product most frequently trace directly to errors in the setup. New personnel and those that require cross-training can also benefit from viewing this program. At MBW, the Blitzscreed is one in a family of fine products designed to last, designed to increase productivity, designed with the future in mind. MBW Incorporated, a source for today and tomorrow.
Well, the MBW Blitzscreed always works good for us. It's a very dependable screed. That's why we have it. It's easy to tear down, it's easy to put back together, and number one, it's dependable. That's what we like about it.
We did approximately 400,000 square feet of industrial floor. Our floors came out to our satisfaction. The people from Cooper Power Systems out of Texas said they were the best floors of anywhere in any of their projects in the United States.
From a 2-foot section up to an 8-foot section, and just the easeability of putting this thing together, it levels out very nice and does some super flat work.